Hey, this is Sage from Logistically Speaking. I'm also a licensed insurance agent at Logrock, but I've also been a carrier, driver, freight broker, and even freight broker agent. And one of the questions I get is basically, why does it take so long sometimes to get answers to questions about detention or layover? Or why is it when I show up, it was a rush to get it out the door, but when I get here, they're like, yeah, we weren't even ready for this yet. So I kind of wanted to explain how the system works in regards to logistics. And this is important to know because if you're a driver, you want to know more than the other guy. You want to make sure you have more knowledge than the guy parked next to you so you can understand your industry that you own a business in. So let's kind of go over this. So when a customer, the lane that I'm in is I deliver from manufacturing to project site, to the job site. So let me kind of explain that there's a lot going on here, and it's not just shipper, broker, carrier, receiver. That's what a lot of drivers think, but that's just not true. So I'm going to kind of give you the breakdown on all the people that may be involved in this one shipment. So normally what happens is a town, a city, a state, somebody basically says, hey, we want to build or we want to put an extension onto a water treatment plant. Let's use that as an example. So the state, which will be right here, the state, let me go into the state right here. I'm going to draw the state real quick here. Make my life simple. That's the state, right? That's the top right here. The state basically says, hey, we're going to hire a project management group because obviously the people in the state office, they know nothing about adding on to a water treatment plant. They don't have any knowledge in this. They just basically want to get it done. So the state hires a project management group. Okay? The project management group, their job is to basically get all the quotes, all the budgets, all the people lined up to put on an addition for this water treatment plant. So they go out and they put bids out to different contractors. Now, each one of these contractors may or may not win the bid. They all put together and reach out to their people to put this all together to try to win the bid to add for the construction of the addition of the water treatment plant. And this might get a little boring, but this is logistics and it's stuff you kind of need to know. So let's say this one right here, this one loses, nope, loses, nope, loses, nope, loses, nope. This one's the winner. This one here wins the bid. Now, I know we're looking like a snowman. This one here has to go out and reach out to various people to get this all done. They hire a construction company because the construction company has to come out. They hire somebody just to do the groundwork, and then they might have to hire people to end up to do the surveys. They have to hire all these people. That's why it takes time. Manufacturing doesn't just show up in 3 months. Takes a lot of times, years sometimes, just to get the first stages done. So I'm just going to move down to my part. So normally what happens with me is you then have this project management group reaches out, or this construction company, let's use them, they reach out and they hire an engineering company. All right, this is an engineering company. The engineering company is hired basically to design the lengths for all of the filtration device that the new water treatment plant is going to be building. They're going to need to know the length of the pipe, the size of the area that they can place it in, how much filtration it has to do. They have to do all these calculations and then design it with a CAD program and basically put this all together before this thing can be built. Then what happens is the engineering company reaches out to various manufacturers. And these various manufacturers are going to basically say, hey, can you build this to our specs? Can you build this filtration system and supply all the piping to these specs, these exact specs? Can you do that? Okay. That's where the manufacturing company that I work with comes in. They say, yes, we can build the piping, we can build the filtration device, we can build everything you need to get this done. Absolutely everything you need to get this done. And they say, perfect. Now, the engineering company says, can you do it turnkey? Which means build it and ship it to the job site, because the job site is over here. Can you build it and ship it to the job site over here? Right? So we have, remember, we had the state, and this is going to be a square S because close enough. And then we had the project management group. And then we had the contractor, general contractor, which will just make it general contractor. To the engineering company. Now, this general contractor is also hiring, crews that can do concrete, crews that can, lots of stuff they're also hiring, right? That's not what I do. But that's more stuff coming to this job site. And this general contractor might also have a logistics person that's going to handle all this traffic. Now, the engineering company hires the manufacturer that says, yes, we can build this for you. This is the manufacturer. And we can do it turnkey. Okay? So they say yes, and then they hire me. Well, they already hired me. I'm on call. They hired me, the logistics provider. While they're manufacturing it, they're getting quotes from me. So what happens is, now remember, this manufacturer is competing against this manufacturer and this manufacturer and this manufacturer, which is also has their shipping department and their shipping department and their shipping department. And each one of these shipping departments are now competing with other logistics companies. Thank God I don't draw for a living, right? So each one of these have logistics companies. Right? And so on and so on and so on and so on. So there's competition here. So each one of us are trying to get the price that allows this manufacturer to win the bid from this engineering company, because they're not the only ones bidding on it. There's competition. Let's say let's say my manufacturing company wins the bid. Now, they've already come to me for quotes, for pricing, for budgetary pricing, to be able to ship the product. We win the bid. They come back to me and they say, okay, we built it, we're ready to ship, no problems. Or they say, we built it and we're over budget. Is there any way you can come down on your price because we had some cost overruns that we can't back charge the company for? All right? Let's say we're good to go. We're now good to go. I then hire a carrier to start hauling the freight. Now, I might have had 3 carriers bid for the freight. And so on and so on. You guys get the gist. Now, each one of these carriers, this is the carriers, all tried to win the freight. And it might be 100 loads of pipe, parts, filtration systems, whatever it is. It's 100 loads. Now, what we have to do is deliver to the job site. Right here. Anyways, this is the job site. Here's the issue. There are other people that are delivering to this job site because this general contractor also hired people to bring in steel girders, rebar, concrete, all kinds of other stuff that are going to the job site. So you have lots of other people delivering to the job site. Now, this engineering company has also put a performance clause saying you have to have this built by a specific date, or you have to get out so much pipe by a specific date. So these guys are not just taking their time building it. They have to build it because the project management company has put a time frame on how long this should take. Everybody's under the gun. So now I have to ship here, but I'm also working around these other people. So I might have to wait because they're not ready to receive the filtration systems until the concrete's in. But I have a small window because I've got to get my stuff in before another phase of the construction is done. And this is kind of what happens. So when there's a layover or detention, the carrier might come back to me, and I have to go to my manufacturer, who then has to go to the engineering company, who then has to go to the general contractor and find out, hey, why was there a layover? Because you told me to deliver this stuff by this day. Why was there a layover? What happened here? And the general contractor might have to go to the project management company and say, hey, I informed you that we were shut down because of bad weather for 3 weeks. So this is now being pushed back. And now we have to figure out who's going to pay that. Was it the manufacturer? Was the receiver's fault? If it was the receiver's fault, guess what? The receiver responds to the project management company or responds to the general contractor. And we have to determine what went wrong for that layover to occur. Who will be billed? Because it's not just me billing the shipper, because it might not be the shipper's fault. The shipper did everything they were supposed to do properly when they got to the job site. The receiver, which is basically the city, hired the project management company to handle that. So the city or the state is not going to claim responsibility. The project management company, something went wrong, or the general contractor, something went wrong, or the engineering company, something went wrong. There was a miscommunication. And this is why sometimes it takes a long time. It is not just as simple as shipper, broker, carrier, receiver. There are so many other people involved in this stuff to make this work that it takes time to find out what went wrong and who's responsible. And a lot of times, like I said, this receiver, they're not paying the bill. The job site that you're delivering to is not paying the bill. Now, this is an open deck situation, but the same thing happens with vans. A lot of times, it's not just shipper, broker, carrier, distribution center, because there could be a buyer involved, or there could be two buyers involved. And the buyer buys a lump sum of product and ships it to various locations, and then makes deep money off of that shipment. So there's a lot of other people that are involved in shipments that you really want to understand how this works. It's not as simple as a straight line. It's a chaos sometimes up here at the top when you're trying to orchestrate all this stuff and figure these things out. And that's kind of what happens. And this is the reasoning why it might take a long time. But the best thing for you guys to do is understand how logistics works and how the gear works at the top. The smarter you get with logistics, the longer you're going to last in trucking. Because once you understand how things work and how competitive the market is all the way from the top down to the bottom, everybody's competing. Manufacturers are competing against other manufacturings. Engineering companies are competing against other engineering companies. Project management companies are competing against other project management companies, and so on and so on and so on. And sometimes it works out, or sometimes we have 3 trucks show up and they have to sit there for 3 days. And then we have to figure out who's responsible for that bill. So I just kind of wanted to give you a rundown. Like I said, I'm going to be doing more live videos and taking calls and walking people and making sure people understand logistics. The show's called Sage, Speaking Logistically, and we're going to be doing this more on this channel, but I did want to do a recorded video so you guys can kind of see the process. It can be chaos up here, and that chaos, sometimes it's not as simple as a straight line. That being said, Sage out. See ya.